Yeah.
There we go. Episode 17. Down 7 pounds in 1 week, Coach. Down 7 pounds in 1 week.
So to do that over a little holiday, good for you, buddy. Because I know, listen, Christmas time, Italian family.
If I go
food, bro, food, and especially Italian, we're going carbs.
Well, I ate a lot on Thanksgiving, but I managed to get it back down after.
And it's probably one of the rare times where I'm like a dessert person, because cookies, man, like I don't know if it's the cookies that do it or the eggnog.
I didn't have any eggnog this year.
See, I
actually ate a lot of shrimp.
Listen, and I don't know if it's us being, south of the bridge, but I had a lot of seafood too, buddy. I mean, first time in history where we're going Christmas dinner involved crab legs and shrimp, like as a non-appetizer, it was like a mainstay. It was phenomenal.
Yeah. I enjoy Christmas dinner, and I had a Christmas Eve dinner as well, and we had a, what the heck was it called? It was a seafood. It was like seafood over like. Oh man, it was. I want. It's not. I want to say it's. What do you call it? Fra Diavolo, that's what it was. Fra Diavolo sauce, seafood.
That sounds phenomenal.
Yeah, with lobster and shrimp and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, man, I definitely dove into the. I am full blown seafood man now. I'll tell you that much. So, as much as I did not eat seafood up north, definitely have done that since coming down south. Whether it's more accessible or I don't know, being down the shore adds something to it, but definitely seafood is now a staple in the diet as much as it can be. That's for sure. Definitely good though. Definitely a change up though. I mean, I was north for Christmas Eve, so my tray of antipasto and all that kind of stuff still hitting on the Italiano. But definitely seafood for Christmas Day when I was back down here. But not bad.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So we were just talking. You brought it up. Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas and
yeah, because I had no idea, and I caught a little. I don't know if it was just some clip that came up or whether it was whatever, but it was an NFL Network special kind of where they had Barry Sanders and Thurman Thomas, and I had no idea that they were in the same backfield. I know they had gone to Oklahoma State together, but I had no idea that they were in the same backfield together. So I found out a little bit of information like with that. I thought it was pretty cool that, Barry Sanders was kind of Thurman Thomas's number two, actually not even number two. I mean, Barry came in and I guess Thurman was a pretty well-established back at that point in college football and was kind of just waiting to, graduate and move on to the next level. And Barry kind of came in as not a big time recruit and was really only playing special teams and returning kicks and ultimately flourished into one of the, the greatest backs in history. So it was cool to see that. I always like to see that interaction between teammates. They were teammates when neither of them was kind of what they were. That relationship continue. You know what I mean?
Thurman Thomas was the man though in college. So
I just don't understand how he played running back with that bar down the middle of his face mask, bro.
Thurman Thomas was an awesome player in college. Barry Sanders, you're right, came out of basically. I mean, he did rush for 600 yards as a junior, but he came out of nowhere rushing for 2,600 yards. I think it was he rushed for. I
thought it was all. I mean, you knew it right away when I said, did you know who the quarterback of that team was? And like I said, there's a great picture of, you got Thurman and Barry as a split back, and then the quarterback who is now current Oklahoma State head coach Mike Gundy. I thought that was so cool. To see those guys in the backfield all together.
That's interesting. What was I going to say? Also, what was really interesting? I don't know if the phone rang, Did you hear the phone ring? I felt
No.
like it rang in my headphones. I don't know. So what was you mentioned that Gore had rushed for over 16,000 yards. Only 2 other backs you said did it, and I obviously got one of them, Emmitt Smith. So I still have to get the other one. Is the other one Adrian Peterson?
Negative. Older.
16,000 yards. Why am I not knowing this?
Once you hear it, you'll be like, oh.
He's a
Think about here. I'll give you. I probably this hint will give it away. Sweetness.
Oh, Walter Payton rushed for over 16,000 yards?
Yeah.
When he broke his initial record? Wow, he played that much longer?
I mean, those are the 3 names. When you said, what 3 NFL backs have ever rushed for 16,000 yards? Obviously Emmett, Frank Gore just passed it this weekend, and then Walter Payton.
Oh, rush. He did 60,070. Man.
That's one of the players I really wish I had seen live because, my old man talks about him all the time. Like, dude, he was just a beast.
He was unbelievable. He was
he was on, from what I hear, other than that 85 team, horrific teams.
Yeah, the early in his career, yes.
Like, very bad.
10, he played in – he had 10 times he had over 1,000 yards. Wow.
Who, Walter?
Mm-hmm.
How many years did he play?
From 75 to 87, so 13 years.
And he had how many rushing yards over 1,000? 10 seasons?
10 of his 13 were over 1,000. That's pretty good.
Did he play all his seasons with the Bears?
Did he go at the end somewhere else? No, he retired with the Bears.
I know there's a lot of because the 85 Bears were his winding down, correct?
It was kind of like towards the end of his career, but he was still a peak then.
But I know a lot of people, I've seen a lot of stuff back and forth where there were some people that were not very happy with the Fridge scoring that touchdown. They thought Walter should have got the carry and got in the end zone in a Super Bowl after having been there for all those years and went through all the struggles and that type of stuff.
Yeah. I mean, that was a big deal, but the Fridge was like an anomaly that year. The Fridge was Fridge could dunk even though he was 350 pounds.
And now, what's crazy is back then that was probably like, and now I bet you how many D linemen could dunk?
Oh, D linemen a lot, probably. Most, I would guess.
Speaking of D linemen,
rushed for 1,000 yards 9 of his 16 years.
Frank Gore.
Yeah. But he does have also. He's got about 480. You know what Walter Payton was great at? What else he did? He did 3. He actually was great in all phases of the game. But you know what else he was really great at as well? I don't know if you knew this. He was fantastic at this.
Well, what is it? Is it an element of playing running back?
Yes.
Catching the ball?
He was fantastic at catching the ball.
And now I feel like back then your running backs caught screens and swing passes.
That's about it. Yep. And that's what he caught. But he would.
I bet you now if he played, you could put him in the slot.
He wasn't fast per se, but I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, he died at 45. Jesus.
Cancer, I think, right?
I think liver failure.
Yeah, I think something like that.
Yeah. Just
now, do you know where his son played running back?
Where did his son play? Yeah, Miami, the U. He played at the U. So who were the top?
Which one of these other 16,000 yard rushers played at the U?
Gore played at the U.
How about that backfield?
Who was it? Gore, Highsmith? I don't know.
Gore. After him, Gore, Portis, and McGahee.
Oh, God, McGahee was for a short time period. McGahee was great. Portis was very good.
Probably the worst injury I've ever seen live, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, was he great, man?
Could you imagine those 3 in the backfield?
Did McGahee play at the Colts, right?
He played with Buffalo.
Oh, who am I? No, you know who I'm thinking of? That you're right. McGahee was supposed to be great, right? He had the knee injury. Portis was great in college. The guy I'm thinking of was Adrian James. He was fantastic.
Remember, Miami has been used to running back you.
Oh yeah, Adrian James. He played with Peyton. He was excellent.
Adrian James was an animal.
He rushed for 1,400 yards at the U.
I always think of Miami as tight end you.
What's that?
I said I always think of Miami a lot as
they were big on they did have a lot of tight end. Yeah.
I mean, they're not just big name, you know what I mean? I mean, look, Miami for a while, Miami produced just, NFL guy after NFL guy after NFL guy. That's what I grew up with was, if you went to Miami, you were going to the league.
Adrian James played 11 years in the NFL.
He made a lot of money.
He had 12,000 yards rushing, 80 touchdowns. He caught the ball great. I remember that.
What number did you wear in college? Do you know?
What did he wear in college? I don't know.
He obviously didn't wear it in the NFL because it was a single digit.
2? No?
5.
Oh, he was 5. Because he was 32. Okay. All right. So your top 3 NFL running backs of all time. Go.
Walter Payton. I was never an Emmitt Smith fan, I'll be honest.
Okay. I look really fat in that angle, so let me move up here.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't know if it was because as a kid, I watched The Little Giants and Emmett. I just was never, let's put it this way, I was never a Cowboys fan.
That's sad for you.
I know. I did love Deion Sanders, though.
He was great in Cowboys. All right.
And I also liked, who was the fullback? Darryl Johnston?
Darryl Johnson was great.
I liked him a lot.
Great announcer.
Yeah. And Troy Aikman.
Right. Okay, you ready?
So, okay, I'm going to go. So I'll go Walter Payton.
Walter Payton.
Of greatest running backs of all time. Is this my personal list or just like who I think?
Your personal list. Who
okay. So I'll go Walter Payton, Adrian Peterson. Growing up, I loved Ricky Waters.
Don't even what?
I'm just telling you. You said you wanted my personal list. If we're talking best, that
who you think are the 3 best running backs of all time in the NFL?
Walter Payton, Adrian Peterson, Emmitt Smith.
Is Emmitt Smith 3?
Emmitt Smith would be 3.
Not Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders would be 4. I think if Barry Sanders played more years, obviously, but I used to love watching him on because the only time I ever got to see him live was on Thanksgiving Day, and he always showed out.
I'm going to give my personal 3. Number one is Jim Brown.
I like that. I love Jim Brown.
Jim Brown. Way ahead of his time, physically dominant, fast. Now,
angry.
Could play today, which is one of my judgments for it. Would he be an all-pro today? People like to do that with baseball a lot, like, because there was before Jackie Robinson.
I don't think a lot. I know. I love how people. Could you be in every era base?
I think Babe Ruth could have.
Right.
Absolutely. Now, would he be?
I don't know. Babe Ruth would have been drunk a lot. They wouldn't have allowed that.
Babe Ruth. I just think Babe Ruth would have conformed to whatever you're supposed to do now.
So you think like Ted Williams could have played now, DiMaggio, Mantle, those type of guys?
Best players, definitely, probably would have been stars.
See, I think football is very different because the game has changed so much.
I think baseball. Yeah, well, football is different because it has changed so much. I think baseball. I
don't think that.
I think both the major leagues and the Negro leagues had their share of really good pitchers, and so you really had an opportunity to. So I think it's comparable. Like the guy who was the greatest home run champ, for no, he had more home runs than Babe Ruth. He played only in the Negro leagues.
The hardest sport I think to do that with is basketball.
It was he was hold on. He was the home run king of all time. He was great. I can't believe it's slipping my like Satchel Paige before he came. He didn't come to the major leagues until he was old. I want to say like I could be wrong. 40. Josh.
Well, like a Willie Mays.
Let's see. Is it Josh Gibson? Was that the home run king? No, that's not the home run king. That's the pitcher.
Well, you got Hank Aaron, but that's the 70s.
Well, Hank Aaron's a great, obviously. Well, yeah, but he was in the 70s. He was post. Well, I mean, like, I think, yeah, Hank Aaron. That's what you're right. Like, baseball doesn't change that much. You know?
Like I said, I think the hardest sport to do it with is basketball.
So, all right. So, getting back, let me get back to basketball.
Jim Brown basketball. I mean, like, it's just so different. Like, these guys are playing now.
I think that's why they didn't have a hard time, even though there was obviously 2 leagues. They were able to get people into the Hall of Fame. I think basketball is more difficult because you had
just a different type, like
and the game changed, 3-point shot.
Right, like but you just like defense is totally different. Like nobody plays defense now. Everything is like, all these games are, 130 to 120, something like that. Like
where was the question is where was the sweet spot in basketball? I mean, look, obviously LeBron
soon as Jordan left.
Like LeBron James is physically superior to not just a great player.
No, just in general.
Physically dominant player.
Like even Jordan didn't win anything until he hit the weight room.
Yep. All right. So let me see.
Top 3 running backs. Number 1, you have Jim Brown.
Jim Brown, Emmitt Smith, and Barry Sanders. Those are my 3. Now, obviously, my 3 are a large reflection of the time period. My also-rans are Walter Payton, Adrian Peterson is probably a little bit down the list. I think LaDainian Tomlinson for a really short time period was there.
He was unstoppable for a couple of seasons.
Yeah.
But I also think that was in the LaDainian Tomlinson played when the transition of the running back started to take place. I think Adrian Peterson saw the last couple years of it and was there through it where it ended.
Eric Dickerson was unbelievable.
My dad loves that guy, bro.
Tony, my favorite as a kid, my favorite player as a kid was Tony Dorsett.
That was Pitt guy, right?
Yes, and he was a Heisman Trophy winner. He rushed for like 1,200 yards. He didn't play that long. He played for maybe 10 years. He was small. You ready for this? He weighed 190 pounds. Played tailback in the NFL. It's unbelievable. He was so fast. He legit 4.3 speed.
Well, that's what my dad always talks about Dickerson. He's like, you didn't even think he was running. He just like glided.
He glided. Oh, he was great. Dickerson was great.
Where did he go to college?
SMU.
Oh, he was part of it. Okay.
So Dickerson You saw the 30 for 30, right? What
was that? The
30 for 30?
Yeah, where they killed the program, right? The death penalty.
Did you see that?
Yeah, because they were all taking money, right?
A large part of it was. Now he denies it, so I don't know if I buy it, but he says to the day he dies, he ain't never saying nothing.
Now, what about like Earl Campbell?
The backfield, they were called the Pony Express. It was Eric Dickerson. Can you name the other guy in the Pony Express?
Absolutely not.
Craig James. You know who Craig James is? He used to be a broadcaster.
Yeah, I hate that guy.
Also the guy that got Leach fired at Texas Tech.
He cried because his kid was soft.
Yeah, I don't remember. It's something with a concussion or something.
Yeah, he locked him in a shed.
Leach is nuts. Leach is so
nuts that when certain kids when he first started at Texas Tech, if they weren't doing good in school, he would bring a desk, put it on the sideline, and make them do their homework while they watched practice. True story.
I'll give you another guy who's probably in the top 10, Marshall Faulk.
Loved him. I liked him when he was with the Colts before he got to the Rams.
And him, just like Adrian James, but he was even, I think, better at it than Adrian James.
What college?
He was a fantastic receiver. San Diego State, come on.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to stump me in colleges because I love college football.
Me too. I definitely
really have to. But he was, and he was part of the fastest show on turf. Remember when he went to St. Louis?
Yep. Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt.
Quarterback was
Kurt Warner.
Head coach was
Dick Vermeil.
Mike Martz.
Offensive coordinator.
Wasn't he the head coach?
Dick Vermeil.
Dick Vermeil was the head coach when they won the Super Bowl.
In their first year, who was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year? Do you know? That's a good one. And then Kurt Warner came out of nowhere.
Did Dick Vermeil win the Super Bowl?
With the Rams when they beat the Titans.
And Mike Martz was the OC, huh?
And he took over after.
Okay. So that was the fastest show on turf. Dick
That
Vermeil.
was the first season of it.
And they won the Super Bowl.
They beat the Titans.
They did win the Super Bowl. That was when they won. 13.
My question is, who was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year?
That was Marshall Faulk's first year there. Who was the starting quarterback at the beginning of the year? I don't know. Who?
He went on and actually had a very good career after the fact. But Kurt Warner just came out of nowhere. This guy actually, I believe it was.
I have to.
I believe it was a torn ACL, in preseason.
Trent Green, was he the guy? No, that wasn't him. That was Gus Farad who had butted the
Kurt Warner was like a third string, second string guy bagging groceries. And then all of a sudden the Rams were excited, had thought they, finally found they had, gotten Trent Green. He was going to be a good quarterback. They were finally getting out of the basement. And then preseason game 3 or game 1, somewhere around there, it was bam, torn ACL. And it was oh my God.
Dick Vermeil is amazing. He turned around
so many teams,
3 different pro teams. The Eagles, which they went to the Super Bowl and lost. The Rams, he won the Super Bowl.
And then he went to
Kansas City.
And look who his quarterback was. Look who he took with him.
Montana?
Trent Green.
Oh, Trent Green he had with him.
Trent Green, great announcer.
Oh.
I think he does games for CBS.
Interesting. And they had Priest Holmes. He was good for a brief while.
Bro.
Priest Holmes was awesome.
Freak.
Holmes.
What college?
Priest Holmes. Hold on, let me think about this.
Remember, you did just say it's tough to stump you.
I know, Priest Holmes.
He also had a really scary, bad neck injury, right? That almost put him in jeopardy to ever play.
I want to say Priest Holmes. Was he Priest Holmes. Texas? No.
It is Texas, but which Texas?
So it must not have been Texas. So it must be Texas A&M.
Yeah.
Must be.
Texas A&M guy.
From Texas for some reason. I just
Texas A&M.
So it was Texas A&M. I was just thinking that I was thinking he's from Texas. I don't know why.
He was little.
I didn't even. There's something in my head that makes me think like I feel like I watched him in college. And then so then Mike Martz never won a Super Bowl as a head coach, I guess.
I think that's when they lost to the Patriots, which started that run.
Hey. Where is I'm trying to see where the guy we just mentioned is ranked. Clinton Portis rushed for 9,000 yards. Sean Alexander was great for a brief time. Earl Campbell was great. He was really good. McGahee had a decent career. Herschel Walker's up there. Ernest Biner, Roger Craig. I'm just looking at the Priest Holmes rushed for 8,000 yards in his career. It's interesting with running backs. Like
you got a 3-year window, man. Like you normally they ain't good for longer than that. They just too many hits on the body.
Like Priest Holmes rushed for 21 touchdowns. Oof. I mean, LaDainian Tomlinson in his early.
Oh, he just used to score touchdowns all over the place.
He scored 28 in 2006. That's in the pros. If someone scored 28 in high school, you'd be like, that guy's first team All-State. He scored 28 rushing, so he scored overall. Because he
could catch the ball a lot out of the backfield.
A lot of catches. Listen, in 2003, you ready for this? He had 100 receptions.
Who did?
Yeah, that's incredible.
That's who, Priest?
No, that's LaDainian Tomlinson. 100 receptions in 2003. He had in his career 624 catches. So the year he scored 20 touchdowns, he also had 3 receivers. So he had 31.
Right.
Wow.
Because that was a record.
That's insane. 31 touchdowns. He went to TCU. I knew that.
And they never went. And the Chargers were they even in AFC finals? They never won the big one, I'll tell you that.
I don't know if they were ever great. I don't know. But he had 145 touchdowns. The most impressive thing about Jim Brown was his average yards per carry. He averaged 5.2 yards per carry in an era where all they did was run. So you knew he could get the ball. And what was impressive was he was a great pass catcher. So he only
that's the difference, I think, between obviously I think Barry Sanders could have caught the ball out of the backfield, but could have Emmitt Smith caught the ball as well out of the backfield?
Emmitt Smith was a great pass catcher. He had 1 million catches. So Jim Brown, in an era that he didn't throw that much, he had 260 catches in his career, which is pretty impressive.
And he retired early.
9 years. In 9 years, Jim Brown had 7,000-yard efforts, but the other two were 942 and 996. Jim Brown's first 4 years, they only had 12 games in the season. And his last 5 years, they had 14.
Right, and then you look at a guy like Frank Gore, who's in year what of his career? You know what I mean? Like he's played how many more games?
He's played 7, 8 more years. But Jim Brown averaged, you ready for this? Jim Brown averaged over 100 yards per game for his career. He
and also, I believe, an All-American at what other sport?
He was great at lacrosse. I guess Adrian Peterson has a lot of yards too. Let me see. Emmitt Smith caught a lot of balls too. Yeah, Emmitt Smith had a lot of catches.
That was that West Coast offense type stuff.
Yeah, he had 515 catches in his career. He didn't score as many touchdowns. Rushing, he had a year of 21 to 25. He had 164. He played in 226 games in his career and 18,355 yards. So he's like under 90 yards a game. That's what's so impressive.
Yeah, but you know what probably hurt him too was those, that last couple seasons or wherever where he tried to do it, not in Dallas.
Right. But what you average per game is still what you average per game. Like Walter Payton averaged around 90-something yards per game in his career. Jim Brown has to have the highest yards per game average. Gore is 241. Gore is like 75 yards a game. I'm trying to think of someone who maybe LaDainian Tomlinson. LaDainian Tomlinson averaged like 85 yards per game. I don't know if there's anybody who averages. Let me see. Maybe Eric Dickerson. Maybe Eric Dickerson is like 91, 92 yards a game. I'm just doing it roughly off my head. I don't know if there is a guy. I'm trying to think if there's any guy that averages 100 yards per game in his career. Marshall Faulk's like 70.
No, they're all probably. I mean, you're thinking that's tough, man.
How about Gail Sayer? Gail Sayers, because he got hurt early. I wonder what
that he might have been on my list.
He's the best athlete to ever play running back, definitely.
I agree with that.
I mean, before he blew out his knee, I mean, he was, they didn't have surgery like they have it now.
Right, he did it all without that stuff.
Because his career, I don't think he rushed. Let me see how many yards he rushed for. Oh yeah, he only rushed for 4,900 yards, but he only played 6 years, 7. Yeah, see, his last 2 years in the NFL, he obviously was after this was post. He was comeback man of the year, I think, in '69, and then it was it. That was it. He was shot because I think he came back from his knee.
Right, and then he couldn't do it because he used to be a nasty return man too, right?
Insane return man. So he averaged like 90. The last 2 years killed him, but let me see. Kick returns, punt returns. Great kick returner. Wow. Yeah, great kick returner. He only played 5 years in 6 years. I mean, if you count the last 2 years where we played 2 games each.
That's so crazy.
So he really played 4 seasons.
It's wild.
5 seasons in the NFL.
It's absolutely wild.
He played 5. The other 2 years he was doing nothing. 5 true years in the NFL. That's it. And he averaged 30.6 yards a kick return and 14.5 yards a punt return.
Oh, my God. 14 yards a punt return? That's ridiculous.
Yeah. He was a great athlete.
Oh,
great.
My God.
Great athlete. Yeah, he was pretty damn good. And he rushed for a lot.
University of Kansas guy.
Oh, yeah. I wish he was like a track guy, track champion. Gail Sayers was known for like his speed. He was pretty damn good.
He was fast, dude.
Yeah. So anyway, well, that was a good intro. College. What'd you think about the Coastal Liberty game? The end part of that game. The end. Let's go right to the end, where before overtime. Now, Liberty ends up winning the game on a field goal.
Blocked.
Because Coastal Carolina's got blocked. But before Liberty won an OT, the end of the game, they were trying to set up for a field goal to win, but they told the running back to not score because they didn't want to give Coastal a chance.
Yeah.
And then what happened, well, maybe we can see if I can pull it up, although we always get flagged every time we pull these things up.
I mean, I like the fact that, look, I mean, that game was supposed to happen earlier in the year, and obviously Coastal went out and picked up, or BYU and Coastal got a game together, and it turned out to be a great spot for Coastal, So I'm just glad that, that game finally went off and they got to be able to play it and actually, actually play it on the field rather than just, what would have happened, should have, coulda, woulda, whatever. So I'm just glad the game got off, and it turned out to be an absolutely great game. I mean, Liberty literally came out swinging, and like I said, I'm glad that it got to get played out on the field itself.
How about the running back doing the snow angels on the field?
Crazy, right?
He was so happy after what happened. So I've said the same.
Because otherwise he's the guy.
So I'm gonna play it real quick.
Out of Orlando with his second straight bowl victory.
Hold on. Technical difficulties with me as the director of the director. I'm a director full time too. Come on now, you didn't know that, did you?
Add it to the list.
Add it. All right, here we go. You ready? Just tell me you can see it. All right.
Good.
Let's go back here. So set the stage. So the play before this, he goes to run. No one comes near him. He eats up clock, and then he takes a knee. This is the running back. Then this happens.
This is going to play for a last-second field goal to get out of Orlando with his second straight bowl victory. Oh, but Kelly this time drifts into the end zone, lost the football. The ball came out. Unbelievable.
So as he was going across, he was trying to hold himself from going in, which I thought was, look how much time is on the clock, 40 seconds. I thought it was ridiculous. I thought the first time I get it, the second one,
you got to get in.
Just get in the end zone. You feel them pulling you, just score. So is that an instruction thing? Should they have said, hey, listen, if you have that much space,
then just go.
Either just take a knee, or if they're giving you that much space, just run it into the end zone. There's 40 seconds.
That's my thing. Like, look, if there's 40 seconds, whatever, take away, another 5 for the kick return, whatever. I mean, look, like they're going to be, below 40 seconds in college football or just in football in general. That's, for them to put something together to go down and have to make a play. Like, look, if you have the opportunity to get points and to put you in a better situation, just take the points, automatically. Or there needs to be better explanation. Like, look, I mean, as a running back in that situation, you have to know that they're going to try to do everything to get the ball one way, shape. You know what I mean? So ball security should be the first thing on your mind,
Agreed. I just didn't understand.
I mean, they almost blew it. You know what I mean? They had an opportunity. It was there, and they almost blew it. Like I said, and like we say it all the time. Like sometimes you start overcoaching. Like just do what you're supposed to do, man.
Yeah, I mean, I think
get in the end zone, score the points. We'll deal with it. Let's go.
I think they overcoached that situation. Now it worked out. They won, but they would have been kicking themselves if they lost that one.
That would have been horrific.
Yeah. Now and it was happened. I was thinking to myself, Coastal is like this is their destiny or something. You know what I mean?
Like, but this is what's supposed to be happening.
There is no such thing as destiny. There is, you have to do the job on the field. Destiny's nice for like the newspapers and all those kind of things.
It's great for a movie.
It's great for a movie. Oh, awesome. You meet the girl of your dreams. It was destiny. In reality, you come home and she's saying, hey, pick your clothes up off the floor. So, and that goes both ways, by the way, not just guys to girls, but girls to guys. Just in case we have any female listeners. Who knows? We may.
I would hope so.
I hope we do.
Listen, we go across, we talk a lot of stuff out here, man.
Yeah, I mean, we like to have female listeners.
It'd be great.
Yeah. They broke the gender barrier this year in football.
They did. And now she's off to where?
What's that?
Now she's off to where? Wake Forest?
No, Wake Forest? That was North Texas.
Maybe.
But I don't know. I don't really follow that. So yeah. Anyway, I think that's if that was the situation, you'd get in the end zone, explain exactly what to do, and have one or two quick decisions. So there is no such thing as an issue like that. Coastal, where do they deserve to be ranked? Should they be top 20?
Yeah, I think so. I think very deserving. So you're looking at some other teams that are in here. I mean, look, they actually played it out on the field for most of their games. So I think that in itself deserves, a little bit more of a gives them a couple extra points in that retrospect. But yeah, I think they're a top 20 team automatically. I said, even with that loss, you know what I mean? They dialed it up. They played who they had to play. Great season. I hope it continues because I would love to see them as a constant discussion going forward. I would hate to see this be like a 1-year wonder type of thing. I don't think it will be. I think they will continue to do what's right and continue to progress along those ranks and hopefully be a perennial top 25 team for years to come. I think it was great for college football, though.
It was great for college football. I think it was an exciting aspect of it,
and a good thing for those other teams that are looking to make that jump to FCS ball. From FCS to FBS, and kind of that look like it can happen. You can think it's not you're always going to be a doormat type of thing, or as you get to this Division I level, you got to take your Coastal did it. And whether it's because, you could say a million, it's the offense they run, it's this type of thing they played, it's COVID, so it's different. Look, I just think it's a good thing, and it's going to, I hopefully entice other programs to continue to strive to get to that level.
Now, did you write down my picks as well as yours? Because I just want to run through what we've gone through so far.
I did. Yeah, I have your picks. I mean, actually, no, I think I just wrote down mine, but I'm sure you can kind of I
remember it. App State, I won. You picked North Texas, right?
Right.
That was the Myrtle Beach Boring Bowl. Famous Idaho Potato Bowl, Nevada over Tulane. I think we both picked Nevada, right?
Right. Yeah.
Boca Raton Bowl, I think you picked UCF.
Yeah, that's a loss.
And I picked. Did I pick BYU?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah. So that's a 2-1. Louisiana Tech. I picked Louisiana Tech. You picked Georgia Southern.
Right.
That's a win for you. Montgomery Bowl. I picked Memphis. You picked FAU. I won that one.
Mm-hmm.
New Mexico Bowl. I think we both picked Hawaii, right?
Yep.
So, so that's, I don't know what that record is. And then Camellia Bowl. What is the Camellia Bowl? What is that?
Some sponsor that wanted to throw money.
Someone named Camellia. That's cool. Hey, wouldn't that be cool? How about
a bowl game named after you?
Wouldn't it be cool to be called have the football and the kitchen sink bowl? If we gave them enough money, we could have our own bowl.
You give enough money, you can do a lot of things.
Yep. Imagine that. We get a lot of viewers on our podcast after that. We just need like 500K.
That's it.
To throw at it.
It's not that much.
No big deal. Disposable money. Just throwing around. Okay, so what was Marshall? Oh, Marshall Buffalo. I think I took the Buff. No, you took the Buffs. I took Marshall.
Right. Buffalo won.
What did that guy rush for?
Our guy, Coach Huggins, gets a W in his first bowl appearance as a coach. It's pretty cool.
The running back didn't play. Is he hurt?
Did he opt out?
What did he do?
Maybe he opted out.
You think so?
No, I don't think he's that type of kid.
Yeah, I think he had hurt. Okay, you had me going on that one. Okay, and now we're up to Liberty Coastal.
I took Coastal.
I think I took Coastal also.
I think you did.
Georgia State, Western Kentucky. I took State. You took Western
Kentucky. Who won?
Georgia State. And then Louisiana, UTSA. I definitely took Louisiana. I don't know.
Yeah, we both did.
Because I don't know anything about UTSA. So what's our record, right?
You're winning.
I'm winning.
I have 1, 2, 3, 4 losses.
I have two. I lost Tech. I lost.
I'm right now
Marshall. I picked, and then
I'm
picked
6 and 4.
I picked.
Did UAB play yet?
And then Coastal. I lost. I lost 3. So
and I have 4.
I guess I'm 7. Wait, so you lost 4 only?
Yeah.
And I lost 3. So I'm 7 and 3.
Yeah. 7 and 3, 6 and 4. UAB didn't play yet, right?
What's that?
UAB didn't play yet?
No. UAB. Oh, it's canceled.
Oh.
The Gasparilla Bowl's canceled. Why is that? COVID? Did she strike again?
She's out in force.
Let me see what happened. UAB bowl game canceled after South Carolina backs out due to COVID. Organizer announced evening that the bowl game has been canceled.
Well, that's brutal if you're that bowl committee for that game to have a team that and it's not like you can find somebody to fill in.
Brutal.
That sucks.
That does suck. All right, so that's it's funny because I'm looking to see if I did watch a little bit of the Memphis game. I saw the end of the Hawaii game, but it was over, and I like Louisiana. They're good, but I can't believe they were beat. I can't believe UTSA can hang. I don't even know who UTSA's head coach is, but he must be pretty good.
I know Larry Coker was the originator of the program.
I know Larry Coker from the U.
Now Miami, I think, is the next game up, right? Miami is playing.
Trailer.
Miami plays tomorrow night against Oklahoma State.
Jeff Trailer. I feel like I know him. Jeff Trailer. He's a Texas guy.
And Miami also, their quarterback is, he said he's coming back for his senior year, King, which was not something to be expected. But I guess the way he played in his last couple games, he's obviously realizes that he's not going to go very far. So he needs another year, which is.
Hey, man, the UTSA head coach gives us guys like high school coach like me and you a little hope. He was at high school.
In Texas.
He played at Stephen F. Austin, okay, which is FCS. He was a high school coach as an assistant for Big Sandy High School in Texas for 3 years. Then at Jacksonville High School in Texas for 6 years. Then was the head coach at Gilmer High School for 15 years.
Yeah, Texas high school football. He probably makes more money as a high school coach than he does at UTSA.
Then he went as a tight ends coach.
Then he made the move.
Special teams to Texas for 2 years. Then assistant head coach SMU. Assistant head coach Arkansas for 2 years. Then head coach at UTSA. This is his first year. Interesting. Gilmer High School. He was the head coach. He right for his winning percentage at Gilmer High School.
Is it 9?
No, it's not 9, but it's close.
High 8s.
Yes, 87%. In his 15 years, he led them to 5 state championship appearances, 3 state titles, 12 district crowns, and he was 170. And I know why he's familiar because I've probably seen his name before. 175. His record in high school was 175 and 26. It's pretty good.
Oh, and now he's the head coach of a Division I program.
Is Gilmer High School always a power? Curious.
it was if you're doing 15 seasons and you got that winning percentage.
Right. I want to know what his
what size school is it? That's my question.
I think it's a 4.
And they have how many?
I mean,
divisions?
Look, they're still. Let's see. They're great this year. They're 14-2,
and they're still playing.
No, they just lost.
What they lose in the final?
In the state championships.
Yeah.
At Cowboy Stadium. You ready for this? This will shock you.
As far as score,
they were 14-1, and they played a team that was 13-0. Okay, so that's a great game. Their only loss was to the team they lost to again in the state championships. You ready? You want to know what the final score was? Take a guess. Gilmer High School.
52-49.
Gilmer High School scored 14 points in the state championship. Carthage, who they played,
17.
70.
So there's some disparity?
70-14.
Damn.
That's craziness. Remember, they play 15-minute quarters. It's a full, like compared to us in New Jersey, that's a full quarter.
Yeah.
So, like, for example, like when we scored 31 points in that last game, that would be, let's see, 31 divided by 4. 4 is 7 is basically 8 points. That would be like scoring 39, 40 points. So if you add like 25% to every one of your scoring, that would be what you would have for the year. So you probably would average,
Texas is the only state that plays 15-minute quarters?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Florida doesn't.
15 minutes is like seriously.
So long.
If your team is playing bad, here's what's nice about 15 minutes. If you're a slow starting team, the truth is there's no reason for your team ever to panic. Because even if you get down 2 touchdowns in a 15-minute quarter game, you have so much time. In a 12-minute game, you don't have the same amount of time. I wish we played 15 minutes.
Right.
Of course, obviously, it probably increases your chances of injury, maybe, I guess. But at
that point, you're so conditioned.
Yeah, you're in great shape.
And then the transition to, I think a lot of that has to do with the amount of players that go from high school to college out of Texas.
It would be, how much fun would it be to play 15-minute quarters?
Oh, in high school?
No huddle? That's like, oh my God.
Think about how many more plays you get just because of it.
40 plays.
Yep.
Ew, yeah. That's I like that. I like that. Defensive coach.
That's amazing.
So
defense, not so much.
You can't just go and run the ball.
No.
Dive option the whole game. And if your guys can't get, if a team can adjust at halftime and then you just drop 30 on you. I love it.
I just think it's I think they might be the only state that does that.
I'm the coach of Texas at some point in my career.
Their rules are just so different, which is, why you don't see out of state teams going to Texas to play. You really don't see that, They keep it all very much in state. I mean, people want to talk about compete, yet you see Florida teams going to Cali teams going to Florida, Ohio travel, all these other
states. They also cut.
That's what I'm saying. That was, when I was at Bosco, I said, why don't we go and play Texas? And they said their rules are so different that it's just,
Does that prepare you more, in your opinion, for college?
100%.
Yeah, definitely, right? If you get a Texas player, do they cut in Florida?
No, you can't.
Can you cut in Georgia?
I don't think you can cut anywhere else. One of the biggest adjustments as a collegiate DB was now I have to handle guys that can cut me. I'm just telling you,
Yeah, I know. A linebacker, that was a huge issue. They would just throw. There were teams that would just throw at you, and you'd be like, if you're sprinting.
Think about it, like rolling down in you know what I mean? Like you're rolling down in coverage or you're coming up on something and all of a sudden, bam, somebody gets you. Like
when I was a fullback,
just chop them down.
Anything on the perimeter, I just chopped them.
That's it.
And then a 3-step drop.
Boom.
To get their hands down, I just roll them right up every single time.
Man. And you knew going into certain weeks, like if you were playing, a triple option team or what, like, hey, dude, like this is, they cut, like you knew it was coming,
You used to drive crazy pass rush.
Oh, God, bro, I'm just telling you, like it just, as a DB, like all of a sudden, all right, I'm good, hey, I'm going to shed this block, and boom, and now your legs are gone and you're on the ground rolling. You're like, oh.
My most angry play was
even when you know it's coming, it don't matter.
Right. I was
something that you have to practice over and over.
Sweep against Buffalo.
Still doesn't matter if you practice it; it's coming. You know what I mean? Like
this little short fullback. Like I'm running right by him. So I just try to run right by him. All of a sudden,
boom,
and I separated my. I played the whole year with it, but I had like a not.
You're on the ground.
Not the worst separation. I can't remember the grades, but I had a separated shoulder.
Yeah, and then you got to play the whole year with that nagging.
Oh, I had to wear that like thing over you, that vest kind of thing.
Yeah, you had to wear shock pad. Like, yeah,
couldn't lift my shoulder up. I played. I didn't give a shit. I was playing. But
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It still creates an injury. It creates just another thing you got to do.
That guy chopped me. As soon as he chopped me, you're going to the ground, I was like,
yeah, because you can't get you're like, oh, I'm going to get your hands up.
This is not going to be good. This is not going to be good. Boom. I'm like, not good.
And it worked, and it looks even worse on film. And then your coach wants to know, why'd you get cut? I don't know. Like, oh, you're rolling around on the ground. Yeah, he cut me. What do you want me to do?
What do you want me to do?
But rules, man. You add another 3 minutes to every quarter. Like you said, it's 12 minutes. It's a whole nother quarter for us.
Oh, I would love it. It would be fun, man. It would be fun as heck.
As long as we're winning, it'd be fun.
Well, you know what it does do? Like some of the games that we
closes that gap.
When you're even like an evenly matched team, and let's say you get down,
right?
It gives you over. It's not. Like you could flip this now. If you're a bad team playing a team much better than you, that's probably as frustrating because you're like, oh my god, 15 minutes.
I wonder if they still have I wonder if they have in place like we do though, like a 35-point running clock thing.
They may, but still like.
Or is it like, hey, you get up by 35, we just end the game?
Mercy. I don't know because
How about losing 70-14 in the state finals? What do you do there? Like keep the clock running?
I don't know. Like they lost in the state championship game 70-14. Obviously, they're a great team. Shows how good the other team is,
right?
And it also shows you like how crazy like
Texas. It's Texas, man.
It could get so crazy so quick. You know what I'm saying?
Well, what'd you say their record was? 15-2.
14-2.
So they play 16 games in Texas.
Yeah. The other team was 14-0. I guess you don't have to.
Okay.
I don't know how they did it.
And this year might be different, but either way, I mean, look at so that's 16 games. Florida 15 games. Us 13 to win it all, and we just had that game added. So it was 12 for how long?
Yeah. You're right.
And if you think about it, if Texas has 15-minute quarters, right? Like, just do the math. They play extra games just by time in general.
It's amazing.
So for every 4 games they play, it's another game for us up here. You know what I mean? Because you're adding another quarter.
Absolutely.
So they really play like 5-6 games more than we do as a state.
Absolutely. So let's there
would be no one in this state that would go for that if you
they won't go for it. No. They'll safety. They'll claim some sort of safety
issues.
Haskins.
Dwayne Haskins. I hope that I hope the party was worth it, or I hope that issue was worth it.
It was a party, my friend. It was not a party.
He is no longer. Today, he was waived by the Washington Football Club after, his incident, I guess you want to call it. So we all know he was videotaped or photographed out at a club.
I would call it a
with a lot of singles. A club with a lot of singles and no mask on. He was he was a first round draft pick. He was supposed to be the next thing, and obviously it has not worked out.
They do the dancing.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. So I guess that signing bonus of singles is gone, and now he's ultimately looking for another team. I'm sure he'll get a shot somewhere. I don't know if he's going to walk in somewhere and be somebody's starter. I don't think that's going to be. He'll have to either, play backup boy and then ultimately maybe get a shot somewhere. But I do not think he walks in the door or is signed somewhere to be somebody's starter.
His maturity, that's basically what shows a lack of maturity. On a
lot of levels.
You're in the spotlight at a just mega high level. You were a first round draft pick, and there has been questions about him. Not I don't remember if the questions were around how hard he works or his demeanor, but there were some. I can't remember now. In the draft, there were some questions about him. I can't remember exactly what it was because he had obviously a sick senior year. Did you see? His stats.
Well, his stats his senior year were wild,
bonkers. But there were a lot of questions about him. I can't remember what.
But here's the thing, too. It's not. I don't think it's that type of situation. The whole maturity thing goes into more so even more so the fact of you look, you're in the NFL, you're a quarterback, you're in the high spotlight. But look, man, how about responsibility and maturity throughout the situation that's going on now? You're not supposed to be asked or you're not supposed to be out without a mask, putting people in jeopardy. You're doing that. And then here's the part that gets me. Your coach has just gone through how many weeks of chemotherapy treatment? And you're still going to do that?
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. You're right. He's very selfish.
I understand you want to go out and have a good time, my man. But look, dude, he was named the captain of the team, I get it, bro. But look, that hits home for me because now, on a personal level, I'm not only you're talking about look, it's one thing if you want to go out and do this and then hang around your teammates and stuff like that. But if you have respect for your coach, not only as your coach, but as a human being that could be at a very high risk, and you've seen it played out. You're talking about this guy getting chemotherapy in the morning, throwing up in the afternoon, and then coming to practice still, and you're going to go out and do that? Come on, bro. It's not cool, man. It's just not. It's not the right mindset that I want a guy who's supposed to be the leader of my team, who I'm supposed to, depend on in key situations. You're going to go and do that, and then I'm going to, expect you to perform for me? No, nah, dude. Listen, good luck. Good luck elsewhere because, that's not the type of person I want here. And I'm sure Rivera said that, look, it's only his first year there. He's trying to create a culture. Is that the guy he wants to lean on? No, thanks. Not to mention your play hasn't lived up to shit. So,
Well, that's right.
If you play, look, what is it? Winning cures all. Maybe if you won some games for us, maybe some of this stuff could be brushed under. But, dude, you're doing all this stuff on top of not winning? No, thanks.
Yeah, he only threw 5 touchdowns, 7 or so. I just feel like I don't know. He's one of those guys who's not going to get it until it's all over. Yeah. And
like I said, he's not a drop down. This is what's going on. Okay, I know he can win me games, but we deal with.
He doesn't run at all, so
he's not even performing on the field to the level that was expected. So sorry, bro. Next up, and look, you're talking about a team in Washington that's willing to go with a quarterback who almost lost his leg instead of you? You know what I mean? Like,
well, there's a lot to be said for that guy, but
here's the thing, and I think ultimately Alex Smith knows he's not a long-term answer. He knows he's got maybe 1 year of maybe 1 year of being a starter,
right.
And then be a backup for my last few years and then ride the thing out. You know what I'm saying? I think he understands that. He's mature enough to know that.
Right.
So now, Washington is like, all right, well, what do we do? All right, well, you know what? This guy was a question mark. He hasn't checked any of these boxes. Let's move on. All right, see you later. So now, where do they go? I don't know where they are in the draft. I know they possibly could make the playoffs with certain scenarios that are going on this weekend, which, the NFC East is just a total shit show as far as teams and whatnot, and especially this weekend, what's going on. I mean, you got 3 teams that could make the playoffs just based off what happens, which is amazing.
Absolutely. No doubt about it.
And to be in that whatever and them to say, you know what, let's step aside. Let's cut ties right now so that we don't have to deal with it. Because there's going to be, quarterbacks that are out there. And then obviously with the draft and whatnot, because you got, 5 quarterbacks that are easily draftable guys that could be, guys in the NFL. But I credit Washington, to be honest, making a move saying, you know what, that's it, bro, gone, see ya.
Absolutely. No doubt. What was I going to say? Well, so much for that. Playoff situation. So 2 things. Did you see J.J. Watt's statement?
Phenomenal.
So should we read it?
Can you play it?
Was it audio or was that?
It was his post game presser.
Okay. All right. So let me see if I can.
It went viral. And I mean, look, I've liked JJ Watt from the jump. I think his story, how good he is in general, the way he carries himself, the family itself, I just think he's a great NFL story, somebody to look up to and somebody to do that. So for him to come out and say these things when he is so frustrated, I mean, and you're talking, this is a defensive player of the year guy here, and for him to make these statements, I think a lot of people pay attention.
Working in the building, go out to the practice field and work hard, do your lifts and do what you're supposed to do. You should not be here. This is a job. We are getting paid a whole lot of money. There are a lot of people that watch us and invest their time and their money into buying our jerseys and buying a whole bunch of, and they care about it. They care every single week. We're in week 16 and we're 4-11. And there's fans that watch this game, that show up to the stadium, that put in time and energy and effort and care about this. So if you can't go out there and you can't work out, you can't show up on time, you can't practice, you can't want to go out there and win, you shouldn't be here. Because this is a privilege. It's the greatest job in the world. You get to go out and play a game. And if you can't care enough, even in week 17, even when you're trash, when you're 4-11, if you can't care enough to go out there.
He tells it like it is.
Artist, that's bullshit.
So let's cut it right there, because you know how the internet police, they all of a sudden our video will be demonetized, and not that it matters, so we don't get money from it, but not shared as much. So what was I gonna say? So your thoughts?
No, look, I love guys that ultimately call out. Like, JJ Watt's your ultimate definition of a pro in my eyes, right? He worked his way to get where he is. He worked his way to be the best he can be. He constantly is working. He knows he plays and works and carries himself with a chip on his shoulder. Like, look, there's always somebody who could outwork me. And that's what his staple and his groundwork has been on, is like, I'm going to put the work in and I'm going to put myself in a good position. He worked his way to Defensive Player of the Year. And look, he's doing everything possible to be great. Now, football, the ultimate team game, doesn't really matter what you do, JJ, because you can be the best at your position and your team could still be over, kind of like they are now. The Texans are not very good. So what he's saying here is he's basically calling out and saying, look, if you can't come to the stadium, or you can't do your job, if you can't lift, if you can't do the work that entails being, an NFL football player, then you shouldn't be here. And I love it because he's calling out guys because, look, we know how it is. There are guys that just try and slide by, especially at a team like the Texans that got 4 wins. They're terrible. Like he said, they're trash. And you still have people that are buying your jersey, that are coming up to him and saying, look, man, we still believe in you. Keep fighting. We're here with you no matter what. And then for these guys to basically chalk it up and just go out there and kind of do whatever and not play or work to their maximum ability, it's a total disservice to the fans. And I think, this statement coming from him is huge. I wish more pros thought that way.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things. So first of all, the team is a train wreck since they fired their coach in the middle of the season. The interim coach knows he's not going to be the head coach.
Correct.
There's a lot to this whole thing. So they're basically all just biding their time. So the question then begs, like, what are they doing to motivate their team? Like, what's going on there from a leadership standpoint up top? Like, I don't know.
Here's my thing.
Obviously, they're just riding the time until 2
weeks left.
Yeah,
or 1 week, right? This is the last regular season game this weekend.
Yeah, I mean, it's. I think that part's crazy.
Look, if you're in the NFL and you have to be motivated, there's a problem.
Right, but there are guys that have to be motivated, and I explained to you.
I know.
My old DC had spoke about it at length from college, and he spoke about how sometimes you have guys that are worried about how many followers they have on Twitter.
And I know I get it. It's just so hard. Someone who just listen,
why do you care if you're a pro?
Like, you are playing a game.
You are famous.
Like, it has nothing to even do with the money. You know how many people would do what you do for free?
I have a news flash for NFL players, just in case they weren't sure if they're doing it for clout or if they're doing it because they like to get more girls that want to date you. I just want you to know that all you have to do is just go up to them and say, hi, my name is so-and-so, and I play for the so-and-so, and you'll probably find yourself a date. That's simple. So just so you know. And then if it's clout, like, I don't understand what clout. It's fake. It's fake clout. Like, those people don't care about you. How about just doing what you're supposed to do so you can advance your own success, your own career? And it's going to set you up. Like, let's say you're a starter in the NFL, okay, and you're a good player, but you're not like special, quote unquote. You're not the best. If you do a great job and you have a solid career, every next thing you go into is going to be exponentially more successful for you. Playing in the NFL is like, now obviously you have to work hard to get there, and obviously to get there, almost everybody works really, really hard. I'm talking about once you get there. And I think the majority of them do, but the ones that don't you realize that you have the golden ticket to do whatever you want going forward? All you have to do is act like a professional for the time you're in the pros. You want to go coach? You're probably going to have a good opportunity to go coach. You want to start a business? You probably have some capital behind you to go.
I would think so.
Put capital behind you. Do you want to go in corporate? Okay, I played in the NFL for 10 years. Do you think that someone's going to bring you in to sell products for them? Yes. There's so many avenues for you. It's craziness that they would ever run the risk of doing, like, I know they're young. Guess what? No one else gets a lottery ticket. No one. God gave you gifts. You utilize your gifts. You should be. It's commendable that you've done the things to get yourself there. Now keep advancing it, because 30 years from now, you're going to be in positions. What I used to say to players I represent, that if you make it, even if you don't become a star, okay, because I had a lot of the free agent guys.
Right.
If you get, just say 3 years of salary, okay, that's like $1.8 million, all right? $1.8 million as a head start in life. That's like having your own venture capital firm to do whatever you want in life. Literally. Like people who in business, they go, hey, I'd like to get funding of $1 million. They got to go beg venture capitalists to do it. You already have the cash to put into whatever it is you want to do. I mean, you want to start a gym and be a trainer? You'll be able to pay the $30,000 out of your checkbook to start a business. What don't get about it? How does people not understand that? It is not an excuse anymore to say, I come from XYZ background. Everybody in the world has Google. Everyone. How much money do you need to do this? Everyone has YouTube. Everyone. People who are homeless can go to the library and access the internet. No excuse.
I love it. You know, it's I just don't understand. Like some of these guys, it's like, you know, how many people would you just got to ask yourself a question. Like, and this is how I would go to work every day. Like, how many people would kill to be in my shoes? How many people would do what I'm doing right now for free? You know, like you're in the NFL, dude. You get to play a game. You get to play a game for fun.
I can tell you that not that many would kill to do what you do for what you do. I can tell you that as a coach, we enjoy it. We personally enjoy it.
Oh, no. I'm talking in general. Like I'm talking as an NFL player.
Yes. Almost everyone would kill to be in that position.
Even people who know nothing or have a quarter of the passion, you know?
If for no other reason other than let's say someone doesn't even like football. You're getting a paycheck to do something that's fun.
Right?
I mean, people have to go work at Walmart and pump gas, and there's nothing wrong with those jobs. But the truth is, very few people say, my goal is to be the cashier, checkout person at Walmart or to pump gas. Those people are doing what they have to do to succeed in life, given the situation they have. The fact that they throw it away, that now most of them don't, but the fact that there are people that will throw it away, given the gifts they have, is bonkers to me. No one wants your clothing line. Play football and make money.
Be really good. How about you focus on what you're supposed to be focusing on?
Unless you're LeBron or
look, why don't that time you're spent marketing your clothing line? Why don't you go lift?
100% players, yes.
The investment you want to put into your clothing line, why don't you go invest in a hyperbaric chamber to sleep in, or a float tank, or acupuncture, or taking care of your body to get 2 or 3 more years at the craft that you are meant to do. God put you on this earth to be a football player. Go be the best damn football player, and don't allow anything to come in between that.
How about this? I don't understand this. You're an NFL player. I used to say this to guys. They all want to run a football camp that somebody else runs for them and get half the money. Why don't you set it up yourself with your own personnel around you?
And then you cut the cost and you make more money.
Why not open a training facility and start training athletes with your name and get people underneath you? And then you don't have to hire anybody. You just get coaches that could do and implement, come up with a little system. What made you great? Something made you great. Something. I can't see myself.
There's a quote that some coach said to you. Put it on a T-shirt. For
look at this. I got to get a studio, for God's sakes. My lighting's terrible. You can have lighting. You can have proper lighting on your media stuff. All right, I yelled. That's enough. That's my rant for the day. That might be yeah. Anyway, you guys
look, we are both on the same page. I understand it. It's so frustrating when you see guys, like a Dwayne Haskins who has, everything under the sun, like I always say, he's got the keys to the Lamborghini and he's going to go and he's going to put freaking, regular gas in it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't understand some of these guys, man. Like, you have every opportunity under the sun to be great and do great things. And that's what the great ones are all about. Like a JJ Watt, man. And this is the fact that he has to call guys out publicly at a presser sucks.
Yeah. And, I'm not a huge fan of the calling out part. And it's obviously a little bit of frustration.
Oh, it's got to. I mean, look. Does anyone want to lose? And especially because they lost this game this weekend that they probably weren't supposed to lose. He sees guys cashing it in, and he knows that. Look, he doesn't have that many seasons left. This one's already a wash. So, like you said, the frustration is obviously bubbling out. And look, I'm not a fan of publicly calling out
teammates too. Like my thing is like. Did he say that to his teammates first?
Right. Now, I would have hoped that he would have expressed that in the locker room and then went to the presser. Or did he just look? I don't think he's a guy that's not going to say that in the locker room. I don't think he's one of those guys that just put it out publicly and not say something on the in the locker room itself. I think he's a guy that probably addresses his teammates. And look, I'm very much one of those guys that look. You want to do you, bro? Go ahead, but I'm going to do me. You know what I'm saying? Like. And I think it just kind of boiled over for him, and it's like he had to say something at this point. I don't think he's going to be a Texan very long anyway.
I don't know. Oh, well, maybe not. I mean, I guess after this, maybe not. I think that
God, I'd love to see him go somewhere and actually have an opportunity to play in the playoffs.
All right, positive NFL playoff picture. Let's get something positive. I'm getting irritated. All right.
How about this? Let's do this one. NFL MVP.
Okay.
I'll be honest. After last night, I think Aaron Rodgers has locked it up.
Who won last year? Mahomes?
I think Mahomes could win it every year.
Is
Aaron Rodgers throwing for however many?
I got a couple other candidates for him. So. All right, I'll give you some names and tell me what you think. Josh Allen.
No, not yet.
The 11-3. Derrick Henry.
No. I think it's between Aaron Rodgers.
What about
Russell Wilson?
Baker Mayfield.
Hell no. Did you see that game yesterday?
No.
I don't care how many receivers went out the day before with COVID.
You're saying Aaron Rodgers is 12-3, number one team in the NFC. Best year he's had. Well, it's.
And I would not want to play Green Bay in the playoffs.
Tom Brady?
Absolutely not.
I think that's about it. I mean,
now, here's the thing. This is a regular season award, correct?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
I think it's coming down to Russell Wilson, Patrick Mahomes, and Aaron Rodgers.
Seattle's 11-4. All right. So who do you think has in the AFC, the big four are KC, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Tennessee.
Wait, what? So hang on. So AFC, you have the Chiefs,
Steelers, Buffalo, Titans, Dolphins,
Steelers. Let's do top fours. KC, Steelers, Buffalo, and who?
Titans. I guess Titans and Dolphins are pretty. I mean, they're all 10-5. I mean, so is the Browns and the Colts.
The NFC, you have
Packers,
Green Bay,
Packers, Saints, Seahawks, Washington football team, because I guess that conference.
They're in the beginning. They're in the division. They win in the division.
Crap. There's crying going on upstairs. I don't know why. Tampa Bay.
This is crazy. There could be a 10-win team in the NFC that doesn't get in because the NFC East it gets a team in and they're so bad. Like, look, if the Giants win,
I'll give you my pick. I think KC and either. I mean, the KC.
I think the Steelers could be a first-round exit.
The Bills, or the Titans.
I like the Bills. I think the Titans are always going to be in the mix because I think when you have a running back like that, you're going to be able. And I know a Vrabel coach team is going to play defense.
My sleeper team.
My sleeper team is the Saints.
I think the Steelers are kind of a sleeper, even though they're 12-3, because
I am not a Big Ben fan.
Yeah, I don't think they're. I mean, they're playing. They were playing great in the NFC. Green Bay, the Saints are good. Seattle's good.
I like the Saints, man,
and I like the.
Honestly think the injuries.
I like the Bucs.
You do like the Bucs.
I just think these guys.
I like the Bucs because they play defense.
He's got so many weapons, though.
Not even that. I think just him and Gronk having been there so many times, I think adds a whole nother element once they get to the playoffs. But, like, how do you stop all of those, like you said, all of those weapons?
Yeah, I don't know.
About Tom Brady, Gronk, Goodwin, Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Fournette in the backfield. Like, what are you doing? Who are you going to stop? And they play defense. And they get to play in warm weather.
Yeah. I don't know.
But I think the Saints are my sleeper going in, especially after Kamara's. Did you see that performance this weekend? Touchdowns?
Ernie Nevers record? No.
Now here's my question.
Ernie Davis or Ernie Nevers?
You saw at the end of the game where they put him in to get another touchdown, right?
No, I didn't see that.
So this was a question like, oh, that's, whatever. You're trying to show up the other team. Here's my take on it. You've put yourself in that position. This guy's got 5 touchdowns on the day with an opportunity to make history. And you're going to hold him out. Why? Because you don't want to look bad on the other coach? That other coach should be signaling to the other sideline saying, put him in if you want. Like, we haven't stopped him yet. Why should we now? Put him in the damn game and let him get a cool record.
Yeah, in the NFL, I have no problem with it. It's the NFL. I mean, come on.
Yeah, there's never. Listen, nobody's going to.
You're in the NFL, dude. You get paid millions of dollars. You're gonna act like one of us in high school who get paid dollars. I mean, come on, give me a break.
Now,
the NFL, you're getting paid millions. You're gonna cry because someone runs a score up on you.
Not even running him up. The guy's about to break a major record, man. Like, that's a record that won't be touched, like, ever. Now, what I didn't know is Kamara was an Alabama guy.
He went to Tennessee, I thought.
I thought he was an Alabama guy, dude.
No, University of Tennessee. No, Alvin Kamara's University of Tennessee. I'm pretty sure, but as I like to say, I've been wrong before, we'll be wrong again, but we can look it up. We can fact check.
I'm pretty sure at one point, maybe he ended there.
Oh, I don't know if he went there first.
Because I want to say there was a picture of warm-ups, Alabama, and you got running backs like the dude that's there now. I could have sworn Kamara, and then Henry, and another back. And you're like, whoa. Like these are the guys that are there. Like,
he played with Tennessee, it says here.
Okay.
You're not wrong.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Kamara's short time at the University of Alabama was a rough experience. He had knee surgery during preseason then redshirted as a true freshman when he was unable to break into a recruitment class that featured future running backs Derrick Henry, T.J. Yeldon, and Kenyon Drake. Is that crazy?
That's what I'm saying. There's a picture of those four.
Saban banned Kamara from practicing with the team and suspended him from their bowl game. He went to Hutchinson Community College and rushed for 1,200 yards, 18 touchdowns, then 1,469 yards and 21 touchdowns. And then he went to the University of Tennessee for 2 years, whereupon he didn't do that much.
Who was it? Kamara, Henry, Yeldon, and who was the other one?
Kenyon Drake.
Now, here's another thing. 3, the quarterback that's there now at Alabama. What's his name?
Quarterback now at Alabama?
Yeah.
What's his name?
Because there's an awesome picture of warm-ups for Alabama, and you have
Mac Jones?
Yes. Is that him?
Right now's quarterback, Mac Jones.
So you have Jones, Jalen Hurts, and Tua. Right?
Bonkers.
And that's like, and those are the guys that you have in kind of like the picture that was, flying around a couple years ago where you had, when they were all at Ohio State, you had Burrow, you had Fields, and then you had, whoever their starter was. And it was like, really? These are the backups?
So who do you predict will be in the final? Do you have I guess we could wait on that.
Why don't we do Heisman pick?
All right, Heisman pick. Sure, we could do that. Who do you like?
You saw the guys that were up got invited, right?
No, I did not. Tell me.
Okay, so the Heisman guys are Jones from Bama, the receiver from Bama,
Well, they say that's the favorite, the receiver from Bama.
Was it Smith?
Yeah, he's the favorite.
Is that his name? No, I'm not sure. What's his name from Clemson?
He's not going to win. Is Mac Jones a candidate?
I think the order will be the Bama I think the Bama kid will win it. The receiver.
So Mac Jones, Trevor Lawrence, Kyle Trask, Devonta Smith. Devonta Smith is the favorite.
What is it, Devonta Smith?
I think. Who do I think?
I think Devonta Smith should win it, and I think ultimately does. You're going to say that he should, but won't. I think Lawrence finishes second. I think Trask third and Jones fourth.
All right, let me see. Let me just get Devonta Smith's numbers.
Devonta Smith's numbers are stupid. I think he's got 109 catches, a punt return for a touchdown.
Oh yeah, he's a bullet, Devonta Smith. I just wanted to refresh myself here. 98 catches, 100.
Bama, Clemson, and Florida. So 3 SEC schools and an ACC.
98 catches, 1,511 yards, 17 touchdowns. 8 punt returns, 199, 1 touchdown. It's great numbers.
I think if Trevor Lawrence didn't get COVID, he'd win it.
He would have won it, yeah. He hasn't won it yet, has he?
No. I think this is his first invite, isn't it?
Okay. What are Mac Jones' numbers?
Remember, who's voting
on? Mac Jones is pretty damn good numbers too. I would say 5 touchdowns in the SEC championship. It's tough. 19 touchdowns. Yeah, I mean, 32 touchdowns thrown. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. I'd say that even though his numbers are really, really good, I think Devonta Smith's going to win and probably has the best overall numbers. The second best numbers are probably Mac Jones or Kyle Trask, maybe even. But I just don't know the loss. I think if Alabama, do they split our votes end up getting split by this situation? Does that give Trevor Lawrence a better chance? Kyle Trask's numbers: 4,000 yards passing, 43 touchdowns, and he's rushed for quite a few touchdowns. He's rushed for Trevor Lawrence. Let me see.
It starts, of course,
with
the letter J. Matt.
All right. So I don't know. I think Devonta Jones wins it. I think second is Trevor Lawrence. I agree. I think third will be Kyle Trask, and fourth will be Mac Jones.
Yep. So we got the same order.
Oh, is that what you said? Okay, good.
Yep.
I was listening to you.
No, I'm just saying.
I was trying to figure out my stats here. I was trying to do my analysis. So we're exactly the same. Cool. All right.
And who votes on that? Press?
The Heisman Pass Trophy winners, and then everyone who's
past winners.
I'm assuming it's mostly press. You know what I'm saying? The secret's out.
Yep. They released it today.
That's
Great,
awesome.
Great post by them, though.
Yeah, I loved it.
I think it's awesome, man. I think that's I wonder if they do that individually for each kid. I think that's phenomenal. Should we tell our viewers what the hell we're talking about?
Super 100, top 100 players.
Just a great graphic, man. And I love that picture. That Buck Burgundy looks good, man. So for all of you that don't know, the New Jersey Football Coaches Association puts out a Super 100 All-State team every year as voted on by coaches throughout the state for obviously a Super 100 team within the state. And our guy, Owen Lachlan, got named to it, which is to be named one more time.
Graphic.
Yeah, that's what I said. It's a great. So if you go and follow them on Twitter, New Jersey NJCFA, right? NJCFA, New Jersey Coaches Football Association. They put out a great graphic and tagged him up in it and whatnot. And we've said all year that he deserves everything he's got and whatnot. And he's gonna continue his career with his brother at Richmond, and he'll be a Spider. So, kudos to him. It's, in only 6 games, the kid put up some daunting numbers and whatnot, but wish he would have had more, but, he's been a pleasure to coach for the last 2 years. Good kid on and off the field, and, pray that his brother hits a growth spurt so we can do some things with his little brother.
He will.
But good. It's awesome. It really is. I mean, top 100 players. How many football players in New Jersey?
100.
No, I said how many senior football players do you think in general?
How many senior players? I wasn't
1,000?
I don't know. I'd have to look at that. So
either way, named as one of the top 100 players in the state.
Great honor. It's a cool. Well, this year we did the meeting via
and like I said in my tweet, I think it's awesome for me to, I was named to that team as a player when I was in high school. So that fact that I get to now coach guys that are, being brought, or becoming part of that brotherhood of that stuff that, stays with us for as long as we are, once you're named to that team, your name's on that team forever. So I think that's one of the coolest aspects of, having the ability to now coach these guys that are getting named to teams that I was named to. It's pretty cool. I don't even know if they had that back when you were playing. Probably not. Right. I know. Cause it was relatively, I think, new thing, 2000 stuff like that.
Yeah, I don't think they had it, but
It's definitely cool.
It's a great honor. I mean, it's 2 years back to back. We've had guys there, so that's
and that's the goal, man. It's like, look, we want to wins and losses and all that. Stuff is huge. State championships are huge, but if we can start, these guys deserve accolades and whatnot. It's part of what football is, and if we can get guys to continue to be on these teams and move forward, that's a big part of it. Big part of it. And these kids deserve the recognition. They put in the work. You know what I mean? And ultimately, most of the guys that are on these teams put in the work. They didn't just get there because somebody likes who they are. And I guess 2 years running, 2 years we've been there, 2 years we got guys on this team. That's huge.
Yeah, he did a great job. So fun. It's a great meeting when I'm on it with all the coaches. They break you up by region, and you go through it. It's really cool. It's it's fun because they go through each player and they talk about them and the guys that are obviously you find out all the guys that are going on to big time levels and stuff. So it's cool, very cool. Having guys on there 2 years in a row is a great thing. I wish they would have told us the day they were going to do it so I could have been aware. But maybe they. I mean, it's not the meeting, but the award.
So that you could have.
Yeah, so I could have been looking out for it. But hey, that's not here or there. At least they get the graphic looks nice, really nice. It's cool, really cool stuff. So, it's cool. I like that they're getting into more of the we need to do more of that social media stuff for the players. That's part of improving.
And that's where your view and that's where, you've impressed that on me. Whereas, just because of you understand the importance of that in that retrospect. Whereas, I didn't really ever see the impact that it has to a level. So you've really opened my eyes since I've been working with you more so as to how that absolutely can help, not only an individual, but a program itself. Because that's what these guys want to see nowadays, man. It's just like the same conversation we just had about NFL guys that are in it for how many followers they have or how many likes or brands or any of that type of stuff. The world gets their information through social media now. That's where stuff comes out. That's where it needs to be, put forth. So
that's exactly right. I'm tagging him right now.
He's going to be all juiced up. I bet you his brother didn't get that one. He's got one up on his brother for that one.
Now we got a little pressure on Mr. Grassi.
That's it, bro. You got to be
to get in there.
We got a couple of candidates that could possibly get on there, depending on the years that certain these guys have.
Kean's going to be definitely
but we're talking about you're right.
Anyway, we're talking about Red Bank stuff. Let's finish up that we should have the Red Bank show. We can talk about our players.
I told you that's something you need to do next year. The Dave Schuman Buck Hour.
Buck Hour, yeah.
Every Tuesday night for an hour. You get in with the you get a little, we'll get you a little
Buck
studio
show
with some Buck gear around you and do your hour-long show every week, the Buck Hour with Dave Schuman, head coach of Red Bank Regional Football. And here we go. Talk about the game the week before, the upcoming opponent, anything going on. The Buck Hour.
Absolutely. How come I can't find Jack can't find his
Twitter?
What is it?
I don't know. You might have one of those weird ones. Let me see.
Right. I score touchdowns or something?
At JS Chamberlain 7.
Oh, that's it. At JS. That's right. I always used to have a problem with that last year. JS Chamberlain. There he is.
Always love when these guys have been out of the program for an entire year and they still have their Red Bank picture up.
It's what do we call it? What do we call Red Bank is QBU?
We get 3 in 3 years.
That's what I'm calling a QBU. Anyway, there was something else I felt like that was a big story. I can't remember what it was. Did we talk about the LSU head coach naming? No,
We did not.
we did briefly say who that lead candidate was. Not LSU. I'm sorry. Did I say LSU? I mean Auburn. Head coach. So Auburn had this wild coaching search that ended in Brian Harson from Boise State. And there's a lot like the guys had a credible record at Boise. So
And I didn't know this either. He was a former quarterback at Boise.
Okay.
And one of the articles I read was that he had gone through either 3 or 4 head coaches in his time at Boise. So that was something in his first meeting with the Auburn players that he spoke to them about. Was like, look, I understand where you're coming from. Like, I've been in your shoes. So I think that they said was a huge grab the team, and the team was like, oh, okay, like eye-opening, because he said, he was like, most of these guys don't know who the hell I am. They may have heard of Boise State, but they don't know who I am, but listen, I think it's a safe hire. It's not the splash I think they were looking for, but I think he's going to get the job done. The question is, does he keep Steele on? When I bet you a lot of those players were hoping Steele got the job.
Well, that happens a lot when you especially now you're concerned about change.
I think you keep that guy in place.
I don't know. I don't know on that. I think I don't know if he knows him and they have a relationship.
That's how that works.
If not, if he doesn't have a relationship,
I might want to personally. If I have a meeting with him and we sit down,
bring your own
right vibe, I'm going to keep him for he's been a defensive coordinator in this league for how long? He knows the league. He might be the best guy for the job.
Who's this?
Steele.
Wait. Rephrase that. Say what you just said again.
So I'm saying if I'm Harson coming in and I sit down with Steele and we vibe, right?
You're not going to vibe unless you know him.
How do you know that?
All right, let me put it like this. Is he an offensive guy, Harson? First of all, I wasn't sure.
Yeah, I would assume so. He was a quarterback, so
okay. All right. So your defensive guy has to be someone that you trust implicitly. I think the mistake that a lot of offensive guys make, and we played it last week. Did we play it with Arizona State? What Herm Edwards said, or no? Did we play that, or we just retweeted it?
No, we might have just retweeted it.
So Herm Edwards says something really interesting. He's like, you might coach a side of the ball that's like but the head coach, you're in charge of the offense, the defense, the special teams. You're in charge of the whole entire program. So even if you're not calling the plays on offense, you're in charge. You're the head coach of all of that stuff.
Right.
And your job to make sure all of it works for all the players on the team. So I think the defensive coordinator has to be somebody that completely fits with what you want to do. Because at Auburn, the last thing you want is some sort of internal strife. And the players that are there currently are going to have to get used to him. Now, if they keep Steele, then it's because he has met him. He has some level of relationship with him. If he's going in blind, I think that's the biggest mistake that a college coach can make, is hire someone they don't really know for a offensive or defensive coordinator position. And even I would even argue the same thing in special teams. But special teams, you're more likely to be able to take someone in that has an expertise there and is really good there, because they're playing with all the players from all the different teams. So, and he's not having an input on culture as much as he's implementing your philosophy on special teams. But offensive, and I think you need all three to be guys that are your guys. And my guess is that if he does, is that he's going to try and bring a guy in from Boise. Now, I don't know. Did Boise hire one of his assistants?
I would think if you're taking that job, I'm not taking that job unless I have the ability to hire my people, right?
Right. Well, he's definitely going to hire he's definitely not taking the job without hiring his people. I was just wondering if Boise was looking at one of his guys for the head job. It looks like no. So it looks like Boise is looking at up and comers. I don't even know the name of any of these guys. So the head coach of Montana State,
right. So they're going to look to go. They're going to hire
Kellen Moore from the Cowboys, the OC.
Yeah, who played there.
That might be
that might be the best. I think that's the best way to go.
That's probably where they'll go. And then
hire a guy who's an alum, who's an up and comer, get him cheap. Right. And hope he wants to ride out his entire career there.
Then the other guy is they have an Oregon, I guess, defensive coordinator also played at Boise. So those are actually three good choices. If it was me, I would take Kellen Moore. But I'm not. I don't know anything about him, so I'm just going on paper. But the guy who's been the Cowboys head coach probably going to be pretty darn good. So, what was I going to say? I don't know. What do you think? I mean,
yeah, I think that would be the best hire for.
Well,
I always like the idea of hiring guys.
Don't you think he's just going to bring his staff?
You would think
most of them that are willing to come. Now, I guess if they knew Kellen Moore was like, it depends on who's an alumni and who's not.
I'm saying, like, look, if I coached Kellen, and now he's coming back, one, obviously you got to see if he's willing. Can I stay if he comes back?
All right, here is defensive coordinator. So Harson. Oh, Harson maybe. Oh, okay. Okay, so number one on his list is the defensive coordinator for Oregon, for Auburn.
Okay.
He's a Boise guy. The second Boise alum is Gerald Alexander from the Miami Dolphins. And then the third guy, who actually I know this guy. I feel like he's recruited a player that I've coached, but I don't remember. Or maybe he's been Jeff Schmedding, who's the Boise State co-defensive coordinator. He is his current DC. Then they have what you said, Steele, but there doesn't seem to be any relationship there. And then Will Muschamp, who was at Auburn with Gus, right? Malzahn. I don't believe that's going to happen, though.
No, I think that's too big of a name to bring in at that.
I think it's either going to be.
It ends up that your defensive coordinator is now a bigger name than your head coach.
Yeah, I think. Well, that's okay. It depends on. That's okay if,
but not in that case with that guy.
In that case, if it's Nick Saban, yeah, Nick Saban could care less. If it's what's his name at North Carolina, like guys, Mac Brown, guys have established themselves. I think another Shiano, guys who like really are seasoned coaches, bringing in a guy who was a head coach could be very helpful for them.
Like if like I could see like say PJ Fleck doesn't work out at Minnesota, Shiano bringing him back to Rutgers,
which I can't believe that could possibly be the case, but it could. I think
it kind of looks that way.
Yeah,
and especially trying to keeping him in the Big Ten.
I think it's interesting having been to Minnesota and seen the facilities, which are, by the way, I mean, obviously other places are great too, mind blowing. But I wonder, is there something, like PJ Fleck? Having watched his offense,
he's a great point man. Is he a very good X and O guy?
I feel like they could do better offensively than they are. Like, I feel like they could be a little more wide open. I would expect a high energetic guy to be more like that.
Maybe that's just not, and he's an offensive guy, obviously. So,
but he was never a coordinator, though.
No, he was a receivers coach.
Right.
He went from being a receivers coach in the league to being a head college football coach.
I just don't know if I just don't know enough about it to know. I mean, that's the tough part. But I think he could use an even more exciting offense because I think he had a very good QB this year. I'm not sure. I can't remember.
I know he's had a couple, he's got some dudes. He's just got to put it together. I mean, look, I don't know.
Well, this year, see, I feel like there's
this should be a wash year.
I feel like some guys, look, Nick Saban's got it rolling. I feel like if you're in the middle of a building process, sometimes you nail it in this kind of COVID situation, and sometimes you're a guy that needs a certain process to get certain things done, and COVID could affect you if you have a certain style. So PJ Fleck has sayings all over the place.
Oh my God, he's got more of those
5,000 sayings. I think it's confusing personally.
Some of them are,
but row to boat is one that resonates. But he's got a hope. They have ski ama or something like that.
They got all kinds of stuff, man.
It's what was their record this year? They were 2019. They were 11-2. I just think that maybe. Maybe he just couldn't get what he needed to get done in this COVID situation. I really do. I think I'm not 100%. I think he just needs a little more. I don't know. His case, if it's a fair assessment to judge off. I do think offensively at times they looked out of sorts, but maybe his style needs a normal situation. Every coach is kind of different, and some of them need to kind of they had to adapt their style, and maybe it's not as adaptive to a situation where it's not fluid. But I don't know. We'll find out next year, I guess.
We will.
I mean, I like the way he does things. It's just we'll see. I mean, they were 11-2 in 2019. That's a huge record for Minnesota. The question about Minnesota ultimately is it a destination spot or is it another climbing the ladder spot? He has approached it as more of a destination spot,
right?
By staying after going 11-2.
I think it's I would think it was, just a stop.
Lou Holtz used it as a stop. There's a few guys that did. Jerry Kill did a great job.
He was the perfect guy for that program.
As a destination spot, they were good, never amazing, but he's a good coach. If he actually is viewing it as a destination spot, I can't see why he couldn't make it one. It's just
I think if that's the way he's doing it, then I think he's good.
Ultimately, Pat Fitzgerald's my good example of this. Northwestern was always terrible, and if someone was there that did good, they got out of there. Pat Fitzgerald, being alumni, made it his destination, and in most years, every once in a while, have an average year, but most years he has very good years, and he's turned Northwestern into much
program.
Yeah, into a destination program now. And we went through that colleges thing, like they're a top 10 university. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty impressive because Duke it's actually the same approach almost that
Absolutely.
I can't believe I forgot his name. The Duke head coach. He was
now it's blanking me. Cutcliffe.
Yeah, David Cutcliffe. David Cutcliffe made Duke a destination spot, rode through some of the difficulties. Every once in a while, they'll have a middle of the road year, but more years than not, they're a bowl team, which, if you get a place that's really good but has had struggled having a quote-unquote tradition, and then you stay there, especially if you're an alumni or you're a guy like David Cutcliffe, who had a very accomplished career for many years, really kind of as an OC. And I'm not saying that's his retirement spot, but I'm saying wants to coach football forever, wants to put in a system, be the CEO and run it, and use his brand combined with Duke's brand educationally to attract players. It seems like he's a perfect fit, just like Pat Fitzgerald is a really perfect fit. Steve Spurrier was great at Duke. He won an ACC championship, but it was always a destination. It was always a stepping ladder for Steve Spurrier because he was looking at a place where he could ultimately win a national championship. So I don't know. I mean, Northwestern was close. They actually played Ohio State tough.
They did. But that comes, there's something to be said about guys that go to – if you have that vision that I'm going to go here and I'm going to stay here for the long haul, if you have that going in, I think you're ahead of the game. Now, obviously, situations change, things like that. But if that's the way and you approach it like that, if Schiano had said, I'm going to go to Rutgers and I'm going to turn this thing around from day one and stayed here from his first time through, it'd be a dynasty.
Absolutely. And that's exactly right. Every once in a while, maybe he might have a middle-of-the-road team, but every year they would be very good.
Correct.
The majority of years. And maybe they break through in one or two of those years.
Who is the last guy we can look and say did that?
That did what? Turned it.
Saban? Imagine if Saban had stayed at LSU.
LSU or Alabama are lifetime destination spots. If you could survive and win big early on,
you can survive your fan base. But I mean, if you turn it back, are we going back to Joe Paterno, Bobby Bowden days?
Absolutely. I mean,
right? Were those the last two to really do it?
Right. Joe Paterno, the question is, I don't. Harry Coker at the U. Oh, I think he's talking about guys that can hire older head coaches at it. But yeah, I agree. I think it's a good question. So
did those guys go into those jobs thinking I'm going to be here for 40 years?
Who are examples like Pat Fitzgerald and David Cutcliffe at other places?
Who's been at places the longest? Check it. You have to look it up. Who are the longest tenured head coaches in college football right now?
Let's look it up.
How long has what's his name been at Notre Dame?
Oh, I'll give a good one. Although it's kind of Kirk Ferentz at Iowa.
He's the longest one. Guaranteed that's what's going to come up.
He would now Iowa has a great tradition.
Right.
So
he just continued it.
But I think he took it to a different level. But remember, they had a legendary coach.
He's definitely going to be the longest tenured guy.
But they had a guy that was before him. The guy that was there forever. I'll give you the guy that's the guy I would say who's probably done it the best. Mike Gundy at Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State was definitely, for many years, if you were good there, you got out. If you were good, you moved on to the next job because it was. But he made that a destination job. Gary TCU, I guess, has big tradition, so I can't count them.
If Lincoln Riley stays at Oklahoma and rides this thing,
that's a destination spot. I mean, think of their history. Barry Switzer, what's his name? The guy who was there before. Lincoln Riley. Stoops.
Stoops.
Yeah, Stoops. Bud Wilkerson. You don't know who that is.
I'm just trying to think of other destiny. Like, what about Texas?
Texas destination spot. It's not a place that people. So the places that people have, I would say Oklahoma State is a place that is not quote unquote a destination spot that
he's going to stay and do it.
That he's done an amazing job at.
What if Chip Kelly stays at UCLA?
UCLA is a destination spot to me. Oregon became a destination spot.
Washington.
Stanford. You might say David Shaw at Stanford.
Are you looking at the list right now?
Yeah, I am. So
number 1 is Iowa.
Well, I would say.
You're looking at longest tenured head coaches, right?
Well, I have all the head coaches. I can see how many years they've been there. Oh. So Iowa has. All right. So Kirk Ferentz is 168 and 106. He's been there since 99.
Yeah, he's got to be the longest
613 percentage, which is not off the wall, but he turned it in.
Iowa's never bad.
Yeah, Iowa's never bad. All right, so let's go. Who else has been somewhere a long time?
TCU guys has been there a while.
At Oklahoma, let me find him. Oklahoma State. So Mike Gundy's record is he's been there since 2005. That's a good tenure. 136 and 67. That's pretty good. 67%. Yeah. TCU, you could argue that may not be quote unquote a destination spot because of the other big schools there. Gary Patterson is 178 and 74. That's pretty damn good. 71%.
Hell yeah.
Clemson, yes. Destination. Trying to think if there's any other longer tenured guys. Northwestern, we talked about. Pat Fitzgerald's 105 and 81, 57%. But that's impressive, I think, at Northwestern. Very impressive. Let's see. ACC Cutcliffe. Cutcliffe is 74 and 88. So he's actually won more than he's lost. But I think he must have had some really bad years in the beginning, if I'm not mistaken.
Right, in order to get to where he's at now.
Yeah, I think he was. So that's right. David Cutcliffe was the head coach at Mississippi. What happened there?
What, after he was at Tennessee?
No, yes. He was pretty good there. Wasn't great, I guess. That's the problem. He had 1 year, he was 10-3. All right, so at Duke, yeah, you're right. In the beginning, he had 1, 2, 3, 5 years of losing records. So they stuck with him, but they were kind of getting better.
They know, look, we're never going to get a bigger name than this in to come here to Duke. We might as well stick with what we got and go.
Now, here's the tough part. So he's had a really good year. Last year, 2019, they were 5-7. This year, they were 2-9.
Yeah, is he on his way out?
That may be near.
This is the end. I would think maybe 3 more years.
Maybe. If he doesn't have a good year next year, he won't be there.
Right.
He's got to have a good year next year.
But
I think that's Army head coach has done an amazing job, and Navy.
Todd Monken.
I guess you can't say quote unquote destinations, but what they've done there, I think, is David Shaw is a good example.
He's a prior, but yeah. But you look at those 3, look at those 4 schools that we're just talking about right there.
71.
High academic schools.
Yeah, those used to be you do well, you move on. But those guys have stayed. So that's a pretty.
Imagine if Jim Harbaugh stayed at Stanford.
Yeah, I know. You're right.
Imagine if Chip Kelly stayed at Oregon.
Navy's 101 and 67. That's pretty amazing.
But his name is always linked to another job. Every year, it feels like he's going somewhere else. He was supposed to be at BYU.
Okay, Matalo. Yep. Dabo's record
stupid.
Stupid. 140 and 32.
Never lost his life.
He doesn't even know what losing is. And then, and what about Air Force's coach has been there a long time, 59%, 102 and 72. Those academies smart. They have somebody good. They stick with them. Nick Saban's record is insane. He's 163 and 23.
And how many of those 23 losses came in the first 5 years of being at Bama?
88. He's 88% winning percentage. That's bonkers. His first year, he was 2-6 at Alabama. His second year, he was 12-2. He only had one bad year. Why did they only play coach 8 games?
Maybe it was sanctions.
Was he hired in the middle of the year or something?
No, didn't he take over and there were sanctions?
Oh, yeah, they were sanctioned, yeah. That's the only losing year, that first year. And then, when he was at LSU, his record at LSU was bonkers, too.
Yep.
He had the one national championship, and then he was great at Michigan State. Actually, Michigan State, he was middle of the road until his last year. And then
this is a good one. One of our viewers talk about Frank Beamer. He had a good run at Vatech.
Beamer, that's a good example. Beamer did have a long – he turned it into a destination spot.
Right, because Virginia Tech was nothing.
That might be getting undone right now. I don't know if Virginia Tech was not very good before Beamer. You're right. So he made that into a destination spot. And then the next hire, what? Oh yeah, Fuente was at he was great at Memphis. I don't get it.
Sometimes it just doesn't transition.
It doesn't fit. Sometimes it's not the fit. It's interesting because Memphis, he was great there. Turned them around. Well, anyway, that was interesting. Actually, that was interesting to me. I don't know if it was interesting to you. I think that's. I think it's a wrap for today.
Sounds good.
If you like my little prospect profiles, I'll hit with another one today.
They were good.
If you ever want to do one.
You probably get a lot of those.
No, I'm saying do an analysis on players.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm sure you get like people like.
No, I'm just going through the top players and I'm giving my own.
Oh, you're giving your own spiel, kind of like certain people. Like I had a guy that kept tweeting. He broke down Coastal's offense verbatim. Like for some reason he had like 9 game films of Coastal or whatever and broke them down. And he's like, look, I won't post tendencies until later in the week because I'm not about to do somebody else's job for them. Social media, man.
Hey, it's cool. Get you out there. So, all right, man.
All right, man. I'll talk to you in a little bit.
All right, brother.
Thanks, guys.